All right, we have Tina Traster of the Rockland County Business Journal on with us. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody in Rockland County on this beautiful, beautiful spring day as we keep emerging from our cocoon. I could tell that we're hitting phase 2 by the amount of traffic on the roads. It seems like we're waking up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, this is not scientific, but anecdotally, I've been listening to a lot of business people over the last week or so, and we did a story last week called Nanuet Rising, and I think it's interesting. I think that the comeback that's hoped for, what I see, and again this is based kind of anecdotally, is I don't see a one-size-fits-all recovery. It seems like it's very individual and based on, I'm talking pretty much small business owners here, but based on a small business owner's cushion, their ability to have weathered these 100 days, without fully being operational. For example, we focused on Nanuet in a pictorial essay last week, and we visited with a chiropractor and wellness center, and that business owner felt that even though he had lost 90% of his business over the course of these 3 months, that people would need chiropractor help, and they would be returning, and certainly weight loss, given all the eating that probably went on. So he here's somebody who will probably come through this. I think everybody is going to show losses in 2020, but some businesses are better situated to weather this problem. In contrast, we also interviewed a shoe repair guy who has a little place in Nanuet over there on the main street, and he hasn't paid his rent in 2 months, and he just doesn't know if he's going to get any forgiveness on that rent. And so, when asked how he was feeling about moving forward, he said that he felt his business had a 50% chance of survival. I spoke this weekend to an acupuncturist, and who works in the Piermont area, and she said that she's not been able to do any business, not even telemedicine kind of business over these last 100 days. And she's worried because even if people start coming back for acupuncture, her concern is this tracing system. So if somebody comes to her and then they've been exposed, then she's at risk. Her practice is at risk. So it's just been it's a very uneven when you just kind of start really talking to business owners. Business owners, it is their instinct to try to, of course, save their businesses. That is what they do. That is who they are. But I get an uneven snapshot at the small business level. And I'm talking about the individual proprietor who has, who either works alone or has a couple of employees. So that's one thing that we've been keeping the finger on the pulse on, and just trying to get a sense of what the collateral damage is going to be.
Any business that you know of that actually said they've been given a break on the rents?
I know some people have talked about deferments, but that's not a break. I think. I think that landlords are going to be in a tough spot. If you've got a little shoe repair guy who's been there 12 years, 15 years, and he's been unable to make the rent, understandably, in the last 2 months, do you want to clear him out because he can't catch up? Do you want to forgive that rent? Do you want to burden him by tacking it on?
Or he can get the same lawyer that Palisade Center has. He'll fix it for him.
Okay, so that's the other side of the spectrum. Today we just put up the story about Simon Property Group suing the Gap for a lack of payment of rent over the last 3 months, and the Palisade Center itself has not paid its own mortgage in 3 months. So, what we're finding is that, and it's interesting because even in the Simon Property Group lawsuit, that the pandemic is not covered as a force majeure. It's not covered as business interruption. So businesses, even large businesses like the Gap, can't make that claim as a defense in their lawsuit. It's going to come down to a calculation for landlords big and small, which is it worth having the empty space? Is it worth going after your tenant? Are you better off just eating that rent? Is there something in between? I think that every landlord is likely having that conversation. I mean, in some cases, a landlord may have gotten lucky because they have a strip mall that was largely, I don't know, a grocery store or a drug store or a dollar store, or the stores that have been able to get through this because they've been deemed essential. They've provided services. They had a restaurant that was doing takeout. Those strip malls might be in a better situated. But, something like the Palisade Center and also Simon Property, the shops at Nanuet, I mean, those retailers have gone dark. And the question is going to be, are they ever going to see the light of day? Which ones will? And it's the whole cycle, is very. It is kind of like it's cannibalism. It's like who's going to eat whom, and who's going to come out of this in the end. So I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot more flexibility in the bargaining of real estate in terms of. I think commercial real estate brokers are going to have an interesting time. I think there's going to be the kind of flexibility that's not been around for a long time because landlords had become so accustomed to being able to get the top rents. And I think that, the little shoe repair guy, I mean, I think we want to see that guy survive, But what's that landlord situation? If they don't get that rent for 2 months, is it make or break for them? I don't know. If the guy owns that one building, it might be. If he owns a string of properties, he might be. It's going to just be interesting to see how the silly putty comes out the other side and what it all looks like. I would say there's a great deal of unpredictability that it may look normal. The doors may be flinging open and the traffic may be resuming. But I think that there are going to be 1,000 stories, and each one is going to be a little bit different. And we'll have to see in the end of the day, what it all looks like. I think it's going to take several months before we see. Who's been able to ride it out and who's not. So yeah, I mean, I've heard lots of stories about people have just not paid rent, and it just depends. It's kind of like the forgiveness on the what is it on the car leases. You call your car leasing company back in March, and they say, yeah, you don't have to pay the lease now or for 2 or 3 months, but then you have to pay it later.
Yep.
So
They conveniently leave that out.
Well, they until you get on the phone and you see what the terms are. So, I don't know what it's going to take. Are we really going to be able to just spring back, or are we going to sputter back to life when we figure out who eats what losses?
Well,
So-
keep looking at it, and then of course your publication is rocklandbusinessjournal.com, but it's all internet, and it's
yes, rcbizjournal.com.
biz spelled B-I-Z, rcbizjournal.com, and you update things on a regular basis, sometimes momentary.
You got it.
All right, Tina, thanks.
Great week.
Okay.